The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Good afternoon, traders. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome out to the Tradespoon live trading room, stocks and options, closing bell. Welcome to the hump, the middle of the week. It's really like by the time we talk, it's really the end of the week, right? We've already had 3 full market days, essentially. We've only got 2 more to go. We only have 1 day in between. I feel like we're disconnected. And it makes me a little sad. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend since I haven't seen you since Friday morning. My name is Scott. I'm the head trading coach here at Tradespoon. I will be your host. It's good to see everybody. Hello, LK. Good afternoon to you, Fred. We are a bit disconnected, Bill says, right? I feel it. Thank you as always. Good to see you, Phil. Well, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what we see. First and foremost, what we think is going on. What we want to do about it. Market's just a little bit stalled. It's not in a great place. However, stalled is not that uncommon for late February, early March. The spring tends to be pretty good. It's been pretty good. Tends to go flat. Seems to be going flat. Still plenty of time for it to figure some things out. So, yes. Okay, let's jump in. This is me. I've been trading for actually going on 24 years now and teaching for almost a full 20 years, believe it or not. Yeah, I'm getting old. I feel it. I feel it. That's me. Here are the disclosures. Be careful. Manage your risk. We're not advisors. This is for education only. Have a plan. Stick to your plan. So there you go. There you go. And hello, Carmen. Thank you for reaching out. It seems like you might be on YouTube rather than in the meeting itself. So thank you for taking time to say hello. I hope all is well with you. My thoughts are with you. Okay, let's go. Let's get started. Let's get into it. Shall we? We shall. Okay. Sorry. What do we know? We started negative. We tried to claw our way back, and then we fell back down again. It's not terrible. There's not a lot of volume, I can tell you that. S&P down 0.5%. Dow barely down at all, 0.14. NASDAQ 2/3. Russell 1/3. Stocks edge down. 10-year yield touches 4% after manufacturing data in Fed speak. That's all we have is Fed speak. What are we talking about? It's Fed speak all the damn time. That's all we have. We have all the sub chairman and regional chairman and this and that. Bostich, Kashkari called for higher rates. I mean, there's nothing new there. They've been saying they're going to. I think we have expected probably the next 2 to 3 meetings, a quarter of a point. The question becomes, do we start thinking it's going to be a half a point? And I'm off track for my calendar. How close are we? It's the 3rd week of March? When's our next Fed report? I've got to know now. Sorry. I want to know. I like to have a good idea about when it's coming. So, yes, 3 weeks. Okay, I thought that's what it was. 3 weeks from today, March 22nd. That we'll see what we're going to get. I think the expectation is still leaning more towards quarter of a point. Okay. VIX drifting lower over the past few sessions. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because the market's drifted a little lower and the VIX has drifted a little lower. For me, what do I make of it? I make of it as there's not a escalation of fear, which is good. Certainly, it could come. Certainly, it can come at any time. But there's not, as of now, that escalation as far as the fear, the institutional fear goes. So I make of that as a good thing. I think it still paves the way for a narrative that sees a late March into April rally. And then we might hit the summer doldrums. Selling may go away. We tend to see sideways for all of May, all of June, a little bump in July, all of August, all of September. Right, the summer months tend to be very sideways. I'm not going to be at all surprised to see that. So what does that mean? If you're not comfortable with time strategies, that should be on your radar. That should be on your to-do list. Butterflies, calendars, iron condors. I prefer butterflies and calendars because they're interchangeable up at highs and lows. They're not as rigid. The iron condor is wider on its initial trade, which is what a lot of people like, but it's less adaptable. And I prefer to have, that fluidity to my trade. But we'll take a look at that. What else do we know? So Salesforce earnings, Abercrombie and Fitch. Not a lot. Novavax stock plunges as it assesses business. Novavax is a COVID stock, right? A vaccine stock, I think. I thought it was something to do with it. Yeah, that's dying off. Meta can't keep people interested. Yeah, now who wants to wear a headset? I don't know about that. Healthcare will cost more than most retirees have. Here's why Medicare isn't the answer. Okay. Former engineering director. This guy looks like a high school picture. Crazy. Down from 335 to 7. I have not. We used to do a COVID, inventory. Obviously, this was back in COVID, though. Back in 2020. Seems so far away now, right? Novavax, NVAX. Yes, I still remember. Oof, even in the last 6 months, it's down from 33 to 6.5. But if you give, let's get a full Corona perspective. Let's go 3 years. daily. Look at this ride. Prior to the pandemic, right? Early 2020, it's sitting around 9. Then it jumps to 50. Then it jumps to 150, pulls back to 100, smashes its way up to 330. Didn't last long, but it did hover around 250 for a while. Look at the fluctuations though, 150 to 250, back and forth. And then it just sort of fell off down to 100, down to 50. Yeah. Gosh, what was the other one? So not Johnson or Johnson or Pfizer. What am I thinking of? What was the other vaccine? It was a French guy as the CEO. Come on, someone help me with this. I can't move on until I remember it. Moderna. Jeez, how did I forget that? Moderna, mRNA. Thank you, LK. So Moderna started off down here in the 20s, got all the way up here to 500. And then it's like, well, I mean, it's not as bad, but it's pretty bad. I guess COVID business wasn't as good as they thought it would be. All right. Interesting. Leon Cooperman warns that stocks could plunge 22% from here. They could. They could also go up 22%. They could go sideways. I mean, it's all on the table. That's about it. Let's see what the calendar has for us. So durable goods dropped a little more than expected. Pending home sales rose unexpectedly. Inventories were flat. Wholesale inventories dropped a little. Home price index was up, but not as much as expected. Consumer confidence, ooh, that's not great. I don't love to see consumer confidence fall. I mean, you know it has to, as part of, it's very difficult for inflation to fall and consumer confidence to rise or even stay the same. For inflation to drop, demand has to drop. And what will tend to lead to a drop in demand? Consumer confidence, right? Okay, what else? Today's Wednesday. Manufacturing, as expected. Construction spending down a titch tomorrow. Jobless claims. Productivity. And we should have why do we not have jobless claims? Or should we not have a Department of Labor report on Friday? What am I missing? First Friday of the month. It should be the February jobs report, but it looks like it got kicked to next week. I don't know why. There's no holiday, right? Don't disrupt the cadence. There's a cadence. We expect it to come according to the cadence. Now, if there was a holiday, I get it, but what the hell? Is there a holiday? There's not a holiday this week, right? Or next week? All right, neither here nor there. So the jobs report is not coming next week. It'll come the week after. Okay, let's look at the toolbox. Let's see how Stella sees things. She's gotten definitely a little bit more bearish. I've been more neutral, but not bearish. I don't see it bearishly, personally. I still see more neutral. Certainly there's been some downturn, but overall, I don't see this as, oh, look, the sellers had a smash and grab and they've regained control. I don't see it that way. Give me your thoughts. Who's in control? Which way do you see it going? Give me a little bit of a temperature check, so I know none of you have drifted off to sleep. SPY Stella updated today for the 6 months. Fred said less bearish. Okay. Let's take a quick look at that. What time is it? We've got time. Updated, and yeah, okay. So that resonates with me a little bit more right there, personally. Let's go QQQ. Down on the Qs, the grade is an A. Still bearish, right? Still bearish. Mildly bearish, but still bearish. Let's take a look at IWM, small caps. Small caps, same thing. Oh, Fred said not too fast. Not too fast. Let's take a look at the 6 month. Fair enough. Nothing wrong with also flat. Okay. Okay. I'm going to tell you, full disclosure, I don't look at the 6 month a lot. I should look at it more because I do look at like a 3-year weekly chart to help understand from a broader perspective what is the market thinking. I recognize that I probably should do a little bit more, but haven't yet. IWM slightly down again, slightly bearish. Let's jump into the longer term. Which one's going to start? Oh, there you go. I was about to say which one's going to show something first, and it looks like the IWM, the small caps, maybe the little soldiers that could lead the way, possibly. Here's the Dow. Ooh, the Dow still looks pretty negative, and when we look at the Dow on the long term, oh, I thought it was going to be flat, but the Dow's looking pretty good here as well. Interesting. Very interesting. Seasonal charts on the SPY. Over here, you can kind of see what I was talking about. Like, we may see this thing go up and then down and then up a little and then down. And then late March, that's a 5-week, on average, a 5-week rally. So that's got some appeal to it, without a doubt. So, yeah, I like the way that looks. Okay. What else? Let's look at the heat map. What's good today? Energy. Energy and a little bit of materials. What's not so good? Cyclical is getting beat up. Real estate and utilities. Interesting that utilities is. Technology doesn't look great. Financials doesn't look great. So, yeah, I mean, one of the things that we're looking for, and we'll do a little bit of sector rotation, is where are the institutions lining up their funds, and what are the implications of that? Those are two things that we're definitely wanting to answer for. I was not very well prepared. I just ran out of coffee. 35 minutes to go. No more coffee. It's terrible. ALB could be setting up. Your thoughts? Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get the SPY and the VIX and the quiz, and then we'll jump into some stocks and a watch list. Moderna. Let's see. SPY. Yeah. It's like we keep thinking, is it going to stabilize? And then it doesn't. And then it's like it tried on Monday and it couldn't hold on. It was still positive, but it couldn't hold on to it. And then the next day sold a little, and today it sold a little. I mean, we're still holding this support. We didn't hold this one. We thought maybe it holds here. Now we're sitting here, 395. Yeah, I don't know. This is tough. It's overbought. It's oversold. It's definitely sitting in an oversold position. I'm not feeling strongly one way or the other right now from a market standpoint, right? It's really sectors and individual stock price action that's likely going to prevail. Okay, let's look at the inside, the internals. We'll get a quiz. Easy enough. This quiz is going to be 394 by 394.75. 394 and below, you are a C. 394.75 and above, you are an A. And in between, B. Good afternoon, John. You're late, but better late than never. Answer on the quiz is a C for John. It's a B for Jacques, a B for Fred, a B for Phil, a B for LK. John's in the corner. He's in the corner. He's slapping his own wrist with a ruler, and he's going to come back and participate. B for Randall. Ooh, man, that's a pretty tight range today. 75 cents only. But mostly it's B's. John is a C. I'm going to play devil's advocate. And I'm gonna put my answer as an A. I'm going to channel my inner Angelique. Just haven't seen her for a while now. I mean, she disappears for Windows, but it's been a while. Has she popped up in any of the morning sessions? Speaking of morning sessions next week, Monday through Friday, guess who's hanging out? The best friend / traders club. That's us. Monday through Friday. She took a trip around the world, huh? Well, sounds exciting. Sounds like a fun. Oh, you don't know? Angelique, if you're listening, we miss you. Come back. We miss your pervasive bullishness. Anyways, I'm feeling it. It's going to bounce. It's going to run up. We're going to get above 395 by the close. That's my prediction. Okay. Everybody's in that wants to be in. Let's get cracking forward and hit the VIX. So Fred's comment was the VIX has been drifting lower. And that's a valid observation because the market's been drifting lower, which means we would expect maybe to see it moving higher to represent fear, not the other way around. Let's see what it has to tell us. Oh, wise VIX. Wise and wonderful VIX. What insights can you provide to us, lowly traders? Sorry, I've got something on my B key. I don't know what's going on with it. There we go. Now I've typed about 1,000 B's in my symbol box. Okay. Yeah, I don't love the way this looks. I do not love the way this looks. Let me talk about it. Okay. You're right. It's kind of just like meandered down. And it's like, does that mean that there is a divergence and that there's less fear and it's transitioning into buying? Or does that mean that we are seeing a little calm before the storm? And here's what's hard. Theoretically, you could say this was a low, we went up, we pulled back. And some people would say, well, is that a higher low? But it never was for me because it didn't, the shadow got up here, but it didn't take out the body. So for me, this is one move down. I don't see that as showing a higher low. That's my interpretation. Somebody might make the argument. I'm not making that argument. So my argument says what? My argument says I am concerned about this. that it's bouncing and that it's going to possibly head up into this range, maybe even up into the mid-range. It looks and feels like it's still a bit of an escalation. This setup here combined with this, I really am apprehensive about what I see there. Just if this is the only, if you're like, Scott, you can take one piece of information, you could trade off of that information. One piece, what would it be? I'd probably take the VIX, to be perfectly honest with you. I think I'd probably take the VIX. I don't like it. I don't like this at all. It definitely, Stella's not worried. I get it, Fred. Believe me, I get it. And I mean, I've had people, it's very interesting because I've had people like, oh, you're a permabull. And it's like funny because I'm like, man, I don't know when I started getting described as that. I've definitely over the years been more like pervasively like oh, let's get ready for the downside. I don't know. I try to keep an even keel at this point. I don't want to commit to my opinion. I want to wait for the market to show me what to commit to. But what am I seeing here? We just saw a higher high. The buyers came in, which pushes, as the buyers on the market come in, it pushes the VIX down. And you can see that just, we haven't, it's just kind of in a bad spot. So yeah, what am I thinking? I'm thinking if tomorrow it shows that candle that I drew, where it takes out today, especially if it takes out today's high and the previous day's high, that's a hedge. I'm just automatically, not even a thought involved, I'm buying some puts on that signal without a, it's a guarantee, 100%. What would I do? Hypothetically speaking, as I don't give recommendations, I would take our current price, not the high, the current price, $395. I'm going to take $395. I'm going to multiply it by 0.95. What is a 5% out of the money put? 375. You'll notice 375 puts us right around these lows. And you might be thinking, well, that's only, if it gets to those lows, that's at the money. Yeah. Can I tell you what a at the money put would look like if it started out of the money and then it moved to at and the volatility? Is the volatility going to go up? Yes. If it drops to 375, the volatility is going to go up quite a bit. And so I want that Vega too. And so, yeah, if it got there, I would absolutely take a chunk of profit. But my thought would also be we could go up and then double dip down to 360. And that would be even better still. And I would like to take profit on some, buy more on the next bounce up, and then close it all down there. I have a plan. So everyone who's like, oh, you're always bullish, you're always bullish. If I seem bullish, bet your last dollar. I have a plan for bearish. There's always a contingency in place. If you don't have a contingency, you should have a contingency. Which ones? Stella sees the 6-month low on SPY 387. I feel you. But my relationship with the VIX, it's long, it's complicated, it's exciting. I would say overall more successful than not. We've been through a lot together, the VIX and I. We are drinking buddies, if you were wondering. We are. We like to hang out on the weekends and drink a few when the market's closed. So it is one that has been reliable enough that no matter what else I see, I will trade it. I will always trade it. Where would I go? I would go 5 weeks out. Probably 5 weeks from here. So I don't know if you see my calendar when I do this or not. So Friday the 3rd, I would say 1 week is the 10th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd probably say April 7th. Although, is it April 6th because of Easter? Is that what's going on? I don't know if that's what a Good Friday is. Good Friday, April 7th. John, is that why you said April 6th? You probably have a handle on that. Easter this year, you guys, I'm going to be smoking a brisket. I will start it the night before, then let it go low and slow for 12 hours. It's going to be absolutely magnificent. I'll be sure to tell you all about it. I can't wait. I ordered some butcher's paper on Amazon. I've never done it smoked with butcher's paper, but Randall wants an invite. You're in. Bring some beer. You drink beer on Easter? What do you drink on Easter? I feel like, you should always have an official beverage. Wine? April 9th is Easter. Yeah, okay. April 9th is Easter. So April 6th. That's the date that I would be looking for that. Absolutely right. Great red wine goes well with a brisket. I'm in. Done and done. Okay. What else? Let's get to the watch list now. Any questions about anything we've gone through today? Any comments? Everyone's feeling okay. Not too concerned. We're all frustrated. Let's just put that out there. There's nobody trading right now who's like, "Oh, this market's fantastic. I love it." If they are, they're lying. They're liars. I don't trust them. And they're not invited for Easter brisket. ALB, let's start there. And then we'll get to the watch list. Where's my charts? ALB. I don't know. A move to the upside. It started. You got a signal back here from this low. It's a little lower than this one, but overall, I'd still be okay. I'd say, well, it got disrupted by earnings. I don't love that it's stalling right here. 3 days in a straight. I would maybe wait to see if it consolidates and holds 240 again. What does Stella say? Let's see what Stella says. Stella, tell us. LB. I'm looking to smoke some chicken wings for the weekend just because who doesn't love delicious smoked chicken wings? Please, if you're on that list, don't say it. I'd have to eject you from the room. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Stella's like, I'm not feeling it. Stella says it could be making a lower low, but if it tries to come down and it stabilizes right around this 240 mark, I think it could definitely turn to something. Woo, look at Alcoa. All of a sudden, the materials, man, that's what's tough. It's like we don't sit around and think, you know what? I think materials are going to jump all of a sudden. It really seemed like they were stalling out. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, just smashed 5.5% for aluminum. Although I hear that Ford is struggling to get aluminum. I think they're out of Brazil, maybe, to make their truck, an aluminum truck they have. I don't know. Maybe there's more shortages or something. Apple. Okay, so Apple's been meandering down, but at the same time, if that's all the sellers got, I would still be inclined. I thought about it back here. I thought about it, but I didn't get the candle I wanted, so I'm still waiting. So if I get the candle and this thing turns up out of this, I think taking a bet on Apple to lead technology out of the depths, I'm okay with that premise, right? That's a narrative that I think I could latch onto. ADI still holding up. Same thing. It's closed the gap, but it actually hasn't broken this old level right here. I would imagine NVIDIA is going to look similar to ADI, John. I think that's Recently, those have been my favorite too. ADI and VDA. ADM. I mean, the cyclicals continue to look terrible. It's garbage. Not the cyclicals, the defensives, right? The staples. It's not looking great. AMD, I don't like as much. AMZN, just kind of meandering now, not really finding a place. That's value. That to me looks okay. I would even think about that now. We might look at that for a trade. Stop loss below these lows. It's not a lot of stop. Today's low 173. Here 172. I might go 172 and a half. I might go 172 and a half. That'd be what? Less than 4 points. This thing can easily catch. I mean, I'd say even going back here, you can see it's getting 15 to 17 points during those times. But with 4, I only need 12. I think 190 is easily in the cards. 15 to the upside, 4 the other way. Let's come back to this. Let's see how. I got to start to hurry. I was kind of dilly-dallying here. AXP. Oh, Stella says flat. Well, Stella's a little bit cranky right now. She's a bit cranky. All right, let's keep going. We'll come back. Mark it down. Boeing. I don't love Boeing coming out of that gap. I mean, that's a judgment call right there. Really went sideways. I started liking Caterpillar better. We'll see. Baba, just Chinese stocks are off the table. They were. I mean, we've been watching them. They were never really on the table. There were a couple times where like, I don't know, this could be a signal. We actually looked at it back here. I'm like, I don't know. I just didn't like Chinese stocks enough. I don't know what it is. It's the regulations, the uncertainty, the governmental influence, whatever. SPY poking its head into A territory, Fred said. Love it. Caterpillar. So there's Caterpillar. That was the signal on Friday. We talked about that as a potential on Friday. Well, if anyone took it, let me know. It was even this one though, like it really kind of felt like it was meandering sideways. So if you passed because you're like, I don't know, it's just kind of iffy. I agree. Right? I'm not like, hey, look, you should have all taken this trade. It was a viable trade. We talked about it. And then you'd have to decide whether or not you thought it was relevant. Okay. What else? ConocoPhillips, energy's up, but overall it doesn't look great. I'm not super impressed. Costco, yeah, let's wait for earnings. Costco really couldn't hold on. I took a stab at it. I'm sure some of you did too back here. And I'm like, oh, here we go, Costco. And then it just sort of like, yeah, and fell apart. Took a small loss. DBC, the materials, the energy, but there's nothing there that's like, oh man, I really want to trade this now. I would actually say John Deere is setting up. I mean, the Caterpillar looked strong. Boeing was iffy, but this has been going sideways, and then all of a sudden it got good earnings, right? We saw the earnings, good earnings, outpaced their earnings by 30%. Ish, close, and popped up, and then it stalled. It's coming down. If this turns, I would say DE is on my shopping list for a potential. Diamonds still down. Disney doesn't look good. FCX is popping, but there was nothing there for a setup. FedEx, I'd say FedEx is still viable. I would say it's you could look at it today even as a potential trade. Or you could wait for more confirmation. I like FedEx. FedEx has been one we've talked about. I'd put FedEx with AXP. That's one that you could definitely consider even for today. Stella says, ooh, look at that. Stella's enamored with FedEx, possibly. FXI is a no. Gold is a no. Goldman. It's a no. IWM is kind of flat. Small caps don't look great from here. I wish I had like a Jim Cramer keyboard, right, where I had little sound effects. I'm like, so, and had some sound effects. I really feel like I could raise my game a level if I had computer generated sound effects. I don't know. Give me your thoughts. For now, I'm just going to keep making them with my mouth. It's not as good. It's okay. MasterCard, meandering down, nothing there. Meta, no thank you, John said. Come on, John. Thought you would have been in support. Marvell, technology. Nah, it's still ADI. It's still Apple and ADI, not anything else in Microsoft. Netflix not looking so good. NVIDIA. Ooh, NVIDIA's still there. NVIDIA, I would say that ADI and NVIDIA are not really on the same cycle. ADI looks closer to a setup. NVIDIA is just reached a high, also coming off of good earnings, pulling back a little bit. After this pullback, I would definitely be interested. So technology, we've got Apple, we've got ADI, we've got NVIDIA, we've got potentially AXP out of financials, potentially John Deere setting up out of industrials. So there's not a lot, but we still have opportunities that are around. Oracle's mostly sideways. QQQ is down. Starbucks is down. Silver is down. Semiconductors, okay. I think that NVIDIA and ADI are mo better. SPY, looks like it is meandering about in the A. Look at that. What did I say? 395. Whoop, whoop. 395 is coming our way. It's going to actually settle down into it. That's what I think. I haven't gotten a solo gold medal for a while, you guys. I'm kind of excited. I don't want to jinx it. SPY, where are we? Target. Oh, Target. They were expecting a 139. They got 189, and they're getting smashed. Why? I'm assuming, my assumption is that they have lowered their guidance for something. Anyone read that report? Margins in supply? Yeah, they lowered their guidance going forward and said margins are getting smaller. Supply is, they've got too much inventory, holding on to garbage too long. Yeah, they need to they've got that great dollar section right at the front of the store. I don't even want to go past that. It's right by the Starbucks. I can get a Starbucks. I can look at the dollar section. Just start discounting it. Feed me my dollar items that I don't need, but I buy anyways. That's the only way you're going to get rid of the garbage. Suckers like me who want a cheap deal, even if we don't want it or need it. It's a good deal. I'll take it. I'll figure it out. Toll Brothers, yeah, sideways. Tesla. So Tesla had that initial run back up, and then it's just, look at that. It doubled. 101 to 202. Boom. Doubled. Where was the first real good entry? I would say right in here. I mean, maybe you thought something happened there. I would say coming up into this, you'd have to hold through earnings, though. UNG. Natural gas is starting to come back. If natural gas has a higher low, I'd probably trade a little bit. I think it overcorrected the other way. Visa, no. VIX. Oh, that VIX. It looks like, it doesn't look nasty. It looks like it's escalating. What it looks like is it's setting up potentially something that is just not great, not what we want. Financials, AXP is better, XLI sideways, Deere is better, XLP still looks like garbage. Consumer discretionary, iffy. Okay. FedEx and AXP. FedEx and AXP. Let's look at our heat map. Let's see who. That's not what I wanted. Sorry. Let me get that out of the way. Industrials looks okay. Looks better than financials, actually. I'm going to do a real quick sector rotation. I've got industrials, I've got energy, and I've got financials. So, okay. So far, those are the two areas that we already talked about. Industrials and financials. Energy still up top. Then we've got materials, industrials, financials. So a lot of other things started to slip, but they stayed okay. Let's go to 66 days. At 66, all of a sudden we see discretionary and technology pop up, but industrials is still there. And when we drop down to 22, we've got industrials, technology, and discretionary. So I would say let's maybe look at FedEx. Let's go with FedEx. How much time do we have? A few minutes to see if we can't sneak something in here. FedEx. I don't even know if I would give it the ability to break below these lows. 264, 199.59. If I go 199.50, that puts me 5 points, and it puts me below these lows, 5 points. To the upside, I would say 220, right? If we catch this thing, I'd say 220 is what I want, 3-1. Drifting back into B territory. No, I jinxed it. No. Jinxed it. What is this? This is SPY. I need FDX. I need to get rid of something that hasn't traded for a while. What does the implied volatility look like? What's our time frame? Implied volatility is a little elevated. It's a bit elevated. I think I'm going to have to go maybe like a March spread. Let's just see what that looks like. 16 days. Let's go vertical. 205 by 210. Yeah, I don't think buying a call is going to make a lot of sense. It's a little too expensive, as it were. This slows things down enough. 220 on the upside and 199.50 on the downside. Let's give risk out maybe a week. So I'd say we probably end up with maybe 3 of these, about 250. 3 of these is a risk of about 250. If it gets to our target, oh man, I don't love that. 2 220 is that's only giving us 2-1 on a 3-1 prospect. What if I go a little out of the money? Gosh, I don't know. I can't get this thing to get above 2-1. You know what? I'm gonna look at buying it simply because I can't get better than 2-1. Oh yeah, I mean you can see the out of the monies are expensive. There's nothing we can do. Even the spread, I just can't get it to work right. I mean, I'm looking at best a little better than 2-1. I agree. It's a no trade. I'm not putting it on for no reason, right? One of my core objectives with options is to maintain or improve the stock trade. That's written in my rules. So if I have a 2-1, I'm not going to accept 1.5-1 to trade the options just because I want to trade options. I've got to improve it. Maintain means I keep the same reward to risk ratio, but I have less capital because of the leverage. Ideally, I want 2 to become 2.5 or 2.5 to become 3-1. That happens when the options are cheap. You can see right now they're expensive. The high implied volatility is putting us in a place. Even the spread, it's just for whatever reason. If we had a little more time, well, we could look at it, and maybe we'll look at it again on Friday. And we could think about AXP. Unfortunately, minute and a half. I don't want to force it. I would say it's on the table, meaning it's still on the table even to put on tomorrow morning, potentially, depending on how it opens. But here's what I know. We will not be disconnected starting Friday. We're going to meet Friday, and then we're going to meet Monday, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then Friday. 6 straight days of coffee and market talk and the philosophy of life. That's what we have ahead of us. I hope you will all join me. Let's see who wins this gold medal as we come into the close. I'm really anxious because I want it. I want that solo gold medal. You can even see it's actually coming down at the end. Fred says it's going to be B and barbecue. There you go, Randall. You got it. Oh, man. The buyers, they couldn't hold on. Just barely. 394.75. That's all I needed. 13 cents. Come on. Oh, it's the B's. The C's are down here. Oh my goodness. Look at the close. You guys see it. 394.78. 394.78. It was 394.75 on a photo finish. A's. Oh, that's me. I'd like to thank the Academy. All right. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful Thursday. I'll see you Friday morning. Take care of yourselves. Manage your risk as always.
Again, this is a
happy trading.